I'm Nathan Simmons, and they say I have a shaman's eyes.
And I'm Dustin Goes to Hollywood, and let me tell you about America. We've got the FBI, and this is the Silver Linings Playlist, a podcast that's like asking who made up the elephant jokes. Oh, welcome everyone to a dour episode.
It sure is. This is the most fun we'll have.
It's all downhill from here.
Yeah.
Nathan, Memories of Murder. This is your pick.
Yes.
Let's talk about it. Why now? Why this movie?
So, Memories of Murder is a movie I saw for the first time this year. And as happens with us occasionally, the second that credits started rolling, I said, I've got to talk about this on the podcast. I am a huge fan of Bong Joon-ho, and this was one that I'd been wanting to check out for a while. I picked it up during the last Criterion sale at Barnes & Noble. And we've talked about what I love about Korean filmmaking on this podcast before when we discussed Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. But the thing that really strikes me about this movie is its incredible command of tone, which every once in a while veers a little too far. This is not a perfect film, but it's pretty damn near, in my opinion.
Yeah.
This is a movie based on, and maybe a little bit of a trigger warning up top for our listeners, a series of sexual assaults and murders that occurred in Korea in the 1980s. And at the time that this movie was made, the killer had never been caught. And so Bong Joon-ho wanted to make a film that sort of explored from the perspective of the police, right? Like, it's sort of a dark comedy about the ineptitude of the police in the area, but also a searing drama about civil unrest and all of the things going on in the country at that time that caused the destabilization and maybe led to the rise of killers. And it's a supremely uncomfortable, but also often very funny movie.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever seen anything quite like this that threads the needle in this way. And the thing that I keep coming back to is the idea that Bong Joon-ho knew that the killer was likely to see this film. That was something that he thought about going into making it. And so there are multiple times in the movie where the film takes a second to just basically point right at the motherfucker in the audience. But at the same time, sort of shows the police maybe from the killer's perspective of well, this is how ridiculous they have to be if they're not catching me yet.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating, bizarre picture that I've been thinking about since I watched it the first time. And so I've been chomping at the bit to discuss it with you guys.
Right on. Well, if this is your first time tuning in, we are the Silver Linings Playlist, as I mentioned. We're a podcast that watches movies such as Memories of Murder that don't end on a happily ever after note, and we try to find the good in them. Normally there's a third host here, Mally, but he got tetanus last I heard, and he's in the hospital.
That's right.
He got in a bar fight, got hit with a rusty nail. You know how these things go.
Rusty nail.
But JT's here. JT, you watched this movie. How do you feel about it?
I did. I watched it way too late, and it's way too early.
Yeah, we're recording this early in the morning.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what is a good time to talk about the content that this movie has.
True.
I know. Yeah.
But either way, it was okay. I was gonna say following this SVU type situation where it's going to different murders and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Seeing how corrupt these cops are, that was surprising to me.
Yeah.
Not corrupt, but forcing confessions and stuff like that. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And chasing headlines. Yeah, it's a procedural where all the procedures are wrong.
Yep.
But also, Nathan, I didn't know that this was based on
a true story.
Yeah, this has been happening.
It's inspired by it, yeah.
And so I'm sure there were officers who were forcing confessions. Trying to pin this on anybody.
Yeah. It's like when you watch one of those documentaries about Ted Bundy and they're like, how did they get away with it for so long? And you see interviews with police officers who are like, well, someone came to me and told me that Ted Bundy tried to murder them. And I was like, that's probably fine.
Yeah.
It's so nuts.
What you come to realize the older you get is that police are mostly dumb. Their job is to find killers and and all these other horrible things. They're mostly inept and they handle crime scenes ineffectively. And it's not as glamorous as it is in the movies.
And especially at this time, they're crazy underfunded. Their society is ripping apart at the seams. They're dealing with public unrest and riots. these guys are living in lower income housing and they're just trying to do their best. And sometimes their best is, I got to get results regardless of if it's the correct result.
Yeah.
But in the case of our lead character, or one of our lead characters here, I think there's a part of him that thinks I'm doing a good job just by doing my job.
Yep.
You know, like there's a part of him that wants to believe in his own bullshit.
Yeah.
Like he operates like he's the main character of an 80s action movie, but he's just some doughy guy who's doing his best, which his best is still kind of shitty.
The amount of times, like, because Priscilla watches true crime stuff a lot, and the amount of times, like, you know, she'll be watching and I'll be on my phone or whatever, and I overhear, like, and so-and-so went to the cops, but they didn't, you know, take down their testimony, or they didn't think that tip was worth investigating. I'm like, oh, so just cops are inept. That's what I'm learning, is that if anything ever happens, don't even bother with the police. Go to the community. They're the ones who get the results.
Right. And I also want to throw out Kang-Ho, again, one of my favorite actors on the planet.
Same.
And he's locked the fuck in this movie.
This was my first time seeing it, and I loved it. Gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd. And the only reason it didn't make it any further than that is because, and I think this will be controversial, but I don't know if I buy the ending.
Interesting. Okay.
By the ending, I literally mean the epilogue. I don't know if that's true to the movie and true to the character of Park, but we'll get there when we get there.
Sure.
So if you haven't seen Memories of Murder, it is a movie that asks the age-old question, what if a murder had memories?
What if you remembered a murder?
Is that title simply referring to, like, present day Park? Like he's reminiscing about this time?
I think so.
Okay.
And I think it's also just like the nation was kind of gripped by this, right? Things like this they reverberate.
Well, let's get into the info dump for Memories of Murder. So the year is 2003. The director, as we mentioned, is the great Bong Joon-ho, the lovable guy that brought you such great films as Parasite, Snowpiercer, and The Host.
Fuck yeah.
The movie stars Kang-Ho, Kim Sang-kyung, Kim Roe-ha, Song Jo-ho, Park Hae-il, I guess the second, Park Hae the second, and Go Seo-hee. The budget was $2.8 million. It managed to gross just $1.2 million worldwide. Currently sits at a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it is currently number 194 on IMDb's top 250 movies of all time.
Hell yeah. Just wanted to throw out, it's Park Hae-il.
Oh, Park Hae-il. Oh,
not 2.
You know what it is? It's my font. It looks like it's 2 capital I's. So I was like, oh, it's the second. Okay.
I will say we're probably we're 3 white guys. Trying to do our best with South Korean names. So we really will do our best. But there's gonna be, give us a little bit of grace here.
If you ever listen to like our Sympathy of Mr. Vengeance episode, or our Battle Royale episode, or our Old Boy episode, you know I'm not very good at pronouncing Asian names. So I apologize.
Or our Blue is the Warmest Color episode.
Yeah,
or
I can't do Greek names either.
The Night Comes for Us.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so there is no trailer for us to play for this thing because, of course, it's in Korean, and that just wouldn't be interesting to listen to for our non-Korean speaking listeners. So let's dive right into this thing.
But we're fluent, for sure.
My first note, Nathan, I almost thought we were getting an Orion picture with this CG Entertainment bumper here at the beginning. And
oh my gosh, absolutely. Yeah. Where's that lion?
So, in a small Korean town in 1986, Detective Park, that's Kang-Ho, finds a woman's corpse in a drainage ditch alongside a wheat field, bound and covered in ants and flies.
Yeah.
And there is evidence that she was sexually assaulted as well.
And immediately you get the idea that he takes himself very seriously and nobody else does.
Yep.
He's riding on the world's slowest tractor to get to this crime scene. He does not have a police vehicle that he's using at this point. He's followed by a bunch of kids to the point where he has to tell them to just like fuck off. And then there's this little kid with a jar of bugs who's like acts like he's afraid Park's gonna confiscate them. And he keeps getting like mocked by these children. There's this one kid in particular who keeps like mirroring his looks and mocking him and copying him. And you get the feeling that this guy is like one day away from just wringing somebody's neck.
Uh-huh.
Because he just wants to do his fucking job.
And this score of this movie is so good, but at this point in particular, it sounds like it should play over the end credits of like an early Resident Evil game. And that's not a complaint. I'm totally here for it.
No, it's so lush. And this is like one of the few moments of bright sunshine, high color contrast we get in the movie, because a lot of it is very dour, a lot of interior shots, and a lot of rainy days.
A lot of desaturated colors too.
Yes. And we get just this montage of Park trying to interrogate suspects, and you quickly realize he's just winging it.
Yep.
He's hunting and pecking on the typewriter. He's asking questions like, hey, this is an assault case, so did you think that the victim was pretty? Don't look at the ceiling, look at me. Like, he has no idea what he's doing.
Yeah, this whole case is fucked right from the beginning, because there's also a second woman's corpse found in a field nearby. Man, how did they solve any crimes in the 80s? Like, I know we talked about they just had to get a job done, so a lot of innocent people probably were punished for this stuff, but there's no structure to this crime scene. There's kids running around. A tractor drives over a footprint that's found at this crime scene.
This scene is the moment where I locked into, I think, what this movie is gonna be. I mean, it's so hectic and so frustrating, but also really funny. Like, there's dudes from the forensics team who are just falling down a hill.
Yeah.
Instead of walking around.
I love this recurring bit.
I will say there's 100% more flying jump kicks in this movie than I expected there to be.
Dude, yes.
Oh, we'll talk about it.
Shit is wild.
That's his signature move.
And it works, dude.
There's a guy later on in the bar that's got like white slacks on that I thought was like, they were like kind of mimicking Jackie Chan, the way he just comes flying in from off screen all the time.
Dude.
That's so funny.
And it's great form. It's not even goofy.
Yes.
So Park is pissed off. He's like, no one roped this scene off. There's like children everywhere. Nobody is taking pictures. There's reporters on the crime scene. Where the hell is forensics?
And this is still when forensics is like a new thing. Like getting DNA evidence is new. And to the point where like when they have a semen sample later on, they can't even like test it. They have to send it off to America because they don't have the technology for it.
They have to mail it to America.
Yeah. It's mail and cum mail. It's like, I'll try to sprinkle in as many jokes as I can.
But don't worry, we'll still have some jokes here and there. Yeah. And he tells the chief, he's like, if I keep staring at the photos of these suspects, it's going to hit me. Like, I'm going to intuit who the murderer is.
I love this kind of recurring bit because right here, he's talking to the chief of police and the chief is like, okay, if you think you're so, good at determining who's a killer and who's not, take a look at these two guys.
Look at these two guys.
Yeah, this guy brought his friend in who his sister.
Yeah.
And they got into a scuffle. So you tell me which one's the and which one's not. And I love that we don't get an answer here, that he just stares at these two and we cut to the next scene.
The next scene, which is him failing to perform in bed with his girlfriend. He says, I think it fell out.
Dude.
She goes, really? And he goes, yeah, let's do this properly.
Dude, you never want to utter that phrase when the lady's on top of you. You never want to go, I think it fell out.
I think it fell out.
That's sad.
Can you help me find it? But his girlfriend is someone who was in the nursing sector, quit her job, and is now basically like a town nurse. Like people just come to her. She buys the medical supplies.
Yeah.
And it seems like a bleak existence, right?
Yeah.
Like both of them want more than what they have. But he's also like, hey, you're really cool. Everyone's coming to you for medical advice. I'm on the verge of breaking this huge case.
Yeah.
Like, he's deluding himself.
No, this shit's sad. They're like sleeping on the floor. They can't even afford a bed. It's sad. But yeah, he starts telling her about details of the case. And she goes, oh, yeah, well, there's this locally known mentally disturbed young man, Kang-Ho, who I saw following around one of your victims recently.
It's not even that. She said, yeah, he used to follow the murdered girl everywhere. And then she says, this old senile lady across the street saw them together.
Right.
And he's like, oh, well, this is a perfect lead. And unfortunately, this leads to a recurring bit where the police shake down a mentally delayed young man who is very susceptible to being interrogated and led on and sort of coached into admitting things he did not do.
Yeah. And he's like fucking up his arcade game too. What an asshole.
Yeah.
he kidnaps this guy and interrogates him, and he like strips him down to his underwear. I'm glad this scene doesn't go too far.
I agree.
Because Park's partner, Joe, comes in and, like JC said, just starts kicking this guy, like just drop kicks him.
God.
And he sets it up by saying, my nicer friend is coming by, so don't worry. He's just going to talk to you. Cho shows up and flying kicks this guy and immediately puts a shower cap on his boots so he can kick him some more.
And doesn't get blood on his shoes and everything.
Right.
Ugh.
If it wasn't, I don't know, I guess the fact that, one, they're trying to force confessions and beating him for absolutely no reason.
No reason.
Any other scene, this would have been so funny.
Yeah.
Like, it just, this guy is unhinged.
Well, it's shot comedically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, a lot of this is comedic, but yeah, it's just ineptitude that's funny. It's not necessarily the subject matter.
Right. It's not what they're doing. Exactly.
Also, just want to note that I watched this with subtitles on, and when comparing a lot of the character names to what is written on like Wikipedia and everything, I may get some of these names wrong because I have these subtitles that name this character Joe, Jae-ho, but on IMDb he's credited as Cho.
Yeah.
So my apologies if I get any of that wrong.
That's interesting. I mean, maybe some of the names got anglicized
Maybe.
in the version you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, so while this young man is being interrogated, we're introduced to our other protagonist, Seo, who is a detective from out of town who's been brought in to consult on the case. And we're introduced to him with this really interesting scene that shows how much these murders have affected the psyche of the town already.
Yeah.
This young woman is walking by a marker where the last murder took place. And when this man asks for directions, she immediately flips out.
Yeah. And also they pass by an effigy that the town has constructed that's got this victim's like colored shirt, this red colored shirt on it, and it says, "Turn yourself in or you may rot and die."
Yeah.
Oof. But yeah, like Detective Seo Tae-yoon is like trying to, help this girl because she fell off the road because she ran away from him thinking he was the murderer.
Yeah.
And Park shows up and like just flying drop kicks him, like thinking he's attacking this girl.
Dude.
He immediately tries to pull an action hero move, right? Like he drop kicks him, he starts throwing him around this hill, and then he screams at the lady. He's like, "Hey, you got to come back and file a report."
Yes. Yeah. And she's just taking off. And yeah, that's when we cut to them in the car and he's like, "Oh, I'm also a detective."
Yeah. And they're giving each other shit for like not doing their jobs well. He's like, "Well, you should have told me you were a detective." And he's like, "You didn't ask for any ID."
I know. And we see that Park's got a pair of shoes that belong to Kang-Ho.
Yeah.
And he's just out here planting evidence, basically. He takes the shoe and makes a footprint in the dirt at the crime scene.
And then takes a photo of it like, aha.
But the hard cut to the three detectives and Kang-Ho just eating meat and watching a police procedural is kind of funny.
It's crazy.
It's kind of funny, but it's also disheartening.
Right. It's funny, but then also it's punctuated by Kang-Ho saying, "I need to call my dad."
Yeah.
But I can't remember his phone number. And it's just, it's despairing, right?
Yeah. And Park tries to get Kang-Ho to confess by using the planted evidence, but when he doesn't, they take him out to the woods and they force him to dig his own grave. This clearly not all their gentlemen. It's very upsetting.
They do this, and also their interrogations, they have like Daffy Duck interrogation style. They're saying things like, "So at the end of the day, you didn't not kill her, right?"
Yeah.
And he just looks confused.
They're like, "Yeah, pull the pin, throw the grenade." And he's like, "Got it. Pull the grenade, throw the pin. Got
right.
it."
Duck season, wabbit season. And they tell him, "Yeah, women hate you. Like, tell us in the recorder how you feel about women." And he thinks they're playing a game. Like, he starts just kind of feeding back what they told him. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to kill them all." And you can see he actually kind of locks in and he starts, repeating the things that they've been telling them. And they prod each little bit of the confession. It's like, "No, it wasn't panties. It was the bra," right?
Yeah.
Like these things like that. And then he says, "Shit, I don't know. How the fuck am I supposed to know what the killer looks like?"
Well, I think it's interesting because, they start like coercing him into making this quote unquote confession.
Yeah.
But he does start apparently giving details that he couldn't have known unless he was there, but they don't pick up on that.
Right.
Because they think he's just doing this game thing. And so when that doesn't work and they don't get the confession they want, it cuts to the police station, and detective Tae-yoon, the one from Seoul, he's
doing actual work.
Yeah, and he notices that Kang-Ho has like webbed fingers to the point where he says he can't even hold chopsticks, so he knows this guy didn't do it.
And he's covered in burns. He's got like nerve damage. Yeah.
And yet he lets him be carted off to what I think is the most insane scene of the movie,
where they make him do a reenactment for the press.
Look, I know you do like reenactments for like documentaries and whatnot, but during an active criminal investigation, you use the suspect you think did it to take photos for the journalists?
And a fella in a wig.
Yes.
Like, this smacks of these guys watch too much television.
Yep.
And they think they've finally solved a major case, so they're going to go all out. They're talking to the reporters about what the headlines should be. They're staging photographs with the hero cops who brought in the murderer. And not for nothing, Tae-yoon is like, yeah, go ahead. And then I will embarrass you in front of everyone. Like, it's a pretty great moment for him, but it's very petty.
Man, this guy's father shows up at the stage bullshit, and he's like shouting, they tortured you, didn't they? This whole police precinct is corrupt as shit.
And it's such a mess.
Yeah.
Everyone's falling over each other. Meanwhile, Park is like, well, he knew too much. And Tae-yoon is like, yeah, you told him all of that shit. And they don't. This is one of those moments where if they just sat down and had a conversation with each other instead of trying to one-up each other at this point, they could have made a lot of connections way sooner.
Yeah.
Because it's not until like towards the end of the movie that they realize, spoiler alert, Kang-Ho was a witness to one of the murders.
Yep. I do love this slow-mo shot, though, them trying to like drag this guy out of the camera spotlight and everything.
It's great.
It's just pure chaos. I love that.
They still had a party planned.
Yeah.
You know, like they go to get dinner. They're talking about how much they failed. And then the button on the scene being the chief accidentally breaking his chopsticks and going, God damn it.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
It's like bad luck, right? To like break chopsticks. And
yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I love this, though, because Tae-yoon randomly drops that there was a third victim, but that no body's been found.
Yeah.
And he cites a missing persons report and that all the victims were beautiful young women, all killed on rainy nights, all wore red clothing the night they were killed. And within a day, he finds the body in the same field as the other girls.
Yeah.
And at this point in the movie, I wrote down, because I was convinced, I was like, oh, so Tae-yoon is the killer, right?
Sure. Because he also is like, yeah, this killer's a pro. He knows exactly what he's doing. Like, it does feel like they're kind of leaning in that direction.
Yeah.
But he's doing actual police work, and these bumpkins are so pissed off at him for it. You know, he's like, there's this bit where Park is giving this presentation, and he's flipping over these sheets of paper with all of his quote unquote evidence.
Yeah.
And at one point, Cho is like, oh, yeah. And then they found semen at the last crime scene. And Park's like, wait, there was semen?
Yeah.
Like that's new information to the lead detective on the case.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the chief is just looking at this photograph of himself in the newspaper celebrating that the murderer was caught. He's just like, God, this sucks.
And then, guys, I have to tell you now, if anyone ever asks me if I want more tenderloin, and my answer isn't a resounding fuck yeah, you guys can kill whatever it is that's pretending to be me.
Thing.
Yeah, exactly. Because we cut to this restaurant, and the trio of detectives and the chief of police are like celebrating.
Yeah.
This is the fucked up part. They go to the restaurant where their supposed killer's dad works.
Yeah, Kang-Ho's dad's restaurant.
I know it's a cultural thing, but when this guy whose mentally disturbed son was wrongfully convicted, like comes in on his knees to serve them, I'm like, this is so fucked.
It's so fucked. And they bought him like some knockoff shoes to like make up for the fact that they destroyed his while planting evidence.
I hated that.
It's just every scene is just like, I do love them calling out Park. Like, these are not Nikes. They say nice on the side.
Nice.
These are like fucking bootlegs. I also love when they find the third body, the search party. It shows how inept everyone is in the department. It's not just like these like core guys. Someone in the search party walks into this field and goes, man, there's snakes down there. Like, they're just mad that they have to like look through something that's not comfortable to find a body.
I know. And yeah, the trio and the chief of police head up for a night at the karaoke bar, but it's bad vibes all around.
Oh, yeah.
The drunken police chief posits the idea that the next time it rains, the killer will strike again.
And then he vomits.
And this is again where I wrote down, yeah, Tae-yoon's definitely the killer, because who goes to a karaoke bar and not only doesn't sing, but is like methodically peeling the skin off an apple with a pocket knife in a booth? Like, what the fuck?
I don't know. Maybe someone who's cool as shit.
And man, you can't be the chief of police and get fucking hammered at the karaoke bar. This dude is just like passed out.
He vomits in the ice bucket and then just screams. He's like, ah! And yeah, he has this amazing idea. He's like, you know what we should do is we should catch the killer before he strikes again. And I'm like, yeah. Good idea, Chief.
So their plan is let's start using decoys during rainstorms to try and lure the killer out. But after a bunch of tries, nothing happens. And notably, during one night, a few passing schoolgirls tell Tae-yoon there's a crazed man that lives in an outhouse behind their middle school.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that later.
Jesus. Like that story, that feels very Twin Peaks. Yeah. And also like very like Junji Ito. Like it feels like an urban legend, right?
Man, what a disappointment that show was.
Oh, I
Junji
know.
Ito. Like the first episode's great. And then it's just like, oh, that's where all the budget went.
Yeah. The rest of it is basically someone doing a flip book in front of a camera.
Could y'all go over the political... What's going on here? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, like because the president's coming to town as like a motorcade and there's just a full-blown riot.
Yeah.
Well, it's also the conflict of, like, it was explaining something because that's when they got to do the whole drills.
Yes.
Where they have to all go in, cut off their lights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They were worried about terrorist attacks at the time.
Okay.
And also, terrorists, quote unquote, but also like political dissidents. There was a lot of unrest between political parties and people who were protesting the government's overreach and cost of living. And yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, the 80s was not a good time like anywhere, no matter how much we try to make nostalgia, like put it in like these glowing lights. Like even like most Asian countries at this time, like we talked about this with Akira in the 80s, like the 80s were just not good for, there was just too much of a government overreach and everyone started to get restless with it and everything.
And a big part of it was in the 80s, there were protests specifically, like basically it was called like a democratic uprising. Like people were trying to fight for a more democratic government. I mean, I'm very much simplifying it, but there were, student protests. There were, not unlike in America, there were students who were killed protesting. It was a very scary time in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So adding this on top, this serial killer running around with impunity, it just felt like the entire country was a powder keg.
And so we get introduced to this woman who will become our next victim, unfortunately. But I love that before she heads out into the rain, she's wearing a red jacket and she looks in the mirror and notably takes it off.
Yeah.
So like this kind of like puts that whole theory to bed.
But it's also, it shows how much this is getting in everybody's heads because she's no doubt read the stories about women in red being murdered during a rainstorm.
Yep.
And this leads to one of the scariest shots I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh my God. Yes. So she's walking down the road, the same road where a lot of the other girls were found. It's raining. It's at night.
Mm-hmm.
And she's singing a song to herself and she hears whistling coming from the tall grass all around her.
Mm-hmm.
And she tries to make a run for this local factory that's nearby that's well lit and everything. But before she can make it there, as she's running down the road, we see from her POV, a man just bolt out of the grass and tackle her. And we just cut to black. This shit is so scary.
And before that happens, the shot of a head poking up from the tall grass behind her very slowly.
Dude, yeah.
And then lowering back down is fucking...
Oh, I missed that.
Oh, go back, because we just watched it.
Is it here?
No, go back. It's when she sweeps the...
It's when she pans with the flashlight.
Yeah, it's when she sweeps the flashlight around the field.
Oh, shit, I missed that.
Yeah. Because she's walking along, singing, she hears whistling, and then this bit right here, as soon as she turns.
Oh, fuck, I didn't even notice that. That's so scary. Holy shit. Oh, my God.
It is fucking impeccably directed. Like, it is, the timing of it is so good. It's so scary.
What is Bong Joon-ho's whole idea with, like, having people's heads slowly raise up into frame? Like, that
it's the
parasite
shot, right?
Yes.
It's absolute that... Because I remember watching Parasite for the first time, and when the head peeks up from the stairs, I was like, that is the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life.
And I gotta say, as I'm watching this, I thought this was Tae-yoon bolting out from the grass, but I don't think it's anyone that we see else in the movie. I think that's kind of like...
It's meant to be representative.
Yeah, it's kind of like how in The Thing, anytime they show shadows of characters, it's not any of the characters we know from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant.
And that's an interesting theory that it could be The Thing is the killer in this film.
So guys, I'm not a detective.
But probably not.
But if I had 4 victims all found around the same field, I would probably set up a patrol nearby to just, keep an eye out on things.
Right.
Or at the very least, I'd have a couple of officers just like stake out the road and just wait,
You'd think that, and then you hear the kinds of theories these guys are coming up with, and you're like, oh, that's why they haven't done anything that I would think to do. Like, Park is like, have you noticed?
This is crazy.
We haven't found any hair from the killer, so the killer must be hairless.
Mm-hmm.
And the chief is like, yeah, walk me through this. And Park's like, we got to interrogate some monks. Like, it can't just be that the killer is good. We gotta stake out some bathhouses. We gotta find a hairless man. We might need to find a monk that's shaved his head.
Dude, the cut to Tae-yoon and the chief of police after he says there's a monastery next door is so fucking funny. They just can't believe that these two fucking ding-dogs are starting like this.
Yeah.
So one of the other police officers, Miss Kwan, notices that on every night of the murders, someone has called into a local radio station and requested the same song on a postcard.
Sad letters.
Mm-hmm. And I like Park's nice, good idea in English with the thumbs up. I thought that was so fucking funny.
It's really good. Yeah, because he's like talking down to her. He's like, why don't you go out and buy some lipstick? Real men are working here. Like, that's essentially his energy.
He smacks her on the butt, says, get out of here, toots.
He does. Essentially, he says, nice, good idea. And then he asks for more tea.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's so, and meanwhile, Tae-yoon is like, this is really good police work. You should be a police officer.
Yeah. I also love that the scene ends with the button of like Park sliding in on his rolly chair out of frame and telling the chief of police, so you want me to like follow up on that lead about hairless dick men again? And like we just smash cut to him in a bathhouse, just like looking at naked men and boys.
One of my favorite lines in the movie is he's watching this guy get dressed in the locker room. And the guy looks at him and he goes, what? Nothing. Just get fucking dressed. Like, he tells him to get dressed. Don't look at me. Get dressed.
God, so funny. Like, I like that he takes this whole lead seriously. He's like, no, I am going to go just look at a bunch of dicks all day.
And we see him at his girlfriend's house, and he's like, I can't take any more fucking baths. I can't get any more saunas. My skin's going to rip off. Like, she's so supportive. She's like, well, maybe you should send someone else to the showers for a little bit. Or you could talk to a psychic.
Okay. So at the most recent crime scene, Park starts performing a similar investigative technique to Dale Cooper's Tibetan trick of breaking glass bottles to find his murderer.
Yeah.
By following a shaman's instructions of pouring a mixture of dirt from the crime scene and water on a piece of paper, and it's supposed to just form the murderer's face. I'm like,
when it dries, we'll see his face.
I bet Bong Joon-ho saw Twin Peaks. I have to imagine he did.
But it's so funny because he's talking to this fortune teller, and she starts to reach behind him, and he goes, don't fucking try to sell me a charm. And it smash cuts to him in the woods with this like bundle. Like,
so fucking funny.
And they hear someone in the woods, and Park is like, oh, it's got to be the killer. You know, they always return to the crime scene.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Tae-yoon who like lights up a cigarette. And even Cho, the other detective, is like, he's been listening to the show because he's like, that guy's fucking cool. Like, look how cool Seo is.
Look how cool he is smoking. And yeah, so like Tae-yoon doesn't see Parker Cho over there, and as he's also kind of like just stalking around the crime scene, another guy shows up, and this is crazy. He shows up, he goes right to where the body was found, he removes a bra and a pair of women's underwear from his waistband.
He like unzips his pants and pulls them like through the zipper hole, basically.
Yes.
Like he just pulls... That's already unsettling, but then he lays it down in the configuration of a woman. Like he's looking at the dirt. Like, what's that old Brian Posehn bit where he's like, I used to jerk off to like a magazine of women's sweaters. Like when you're a kid, you're like just imagining it full of titties. Like that's the mental gymnastics here are insane.
And he like pulls his pants down, and he notably has like this frilly set of red underwear on.
Yeah.
And he just starts jerking off looking at this bra and panties down there. And Cho steps on a twig, which alerts this guy, who takes off. And so the trio give chase, and they find him in like a nearby quarry. But I want to ask you guys, it's not the same guy, right?
No, it's the same guy.
Because this underwear he's wearing does not look like the same underwear they find him in later to me.
Really?
This is much more frilly and lacy. And when they go to the quarry and they spot, this guy who bends over and he's got this red underwear on.
I think you're right.
When they show it, it does not look the same.
Maybe it's less frilly in the back.
I don't know. Maybe.
I'm just wondering how many, it's a major coincidence that two guys that work at the same quarry are wearing, because it almost looks like women's underwear.
It is. Oh, it absolutely is.
I feel like it's his sick wife's underwear, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Because, look at this scene where they're interrogating him. This underwear, I'm assuming it's supposed to be the same underwear. It's not nearly as frilly.
Yeah, it looks different.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
It looks frilly in the front.
Yeah, it does.
Frilly in the front, but it got much better. What I love about this scene, though, there's this chaotic chase into this dig site. The music becomes less percussive and more orchestral and fades back and forth depending on how close they are to the suspect. And then Park is finally a good detective.
Yep.
He has a moment where he notices the one guy with his underwear poking out of his suit. And instead of saying, I spotted the guy with the underwear, he says, here, grab these three guys, put them in a lineup so he can pretend that his thing about looking the suspect in the eyes is real.
Yep.
It's an incredible moment of you could be a good cop, but you can't get out of your own bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And once he says, this is our guy, Cho gives him a flying kick.
It sure does. Comes in from off screen and just tackles this guy down. It's so fucking funny. But yeah, it turns out this guy, their suspect, is just a guy that, the neighborhood vouches for him. He never misses a day of church.
Yeah.
He's taking care of his sick wife and kids. Man, this scene of them in their home is so unsettling. There's just flies everywhere.
Yeah.
They're just living in squalor.
The kids are playing with their dad's porno mags.
Yeah.
It's really dark.
Yeah.
And he tells the cops, he's like, look, I only did this because I like the breeze.
Yeah.
I like jerking off in the open air.
Is jerking off a crime?
Is jerking off a crime is a wild line.
Yeah.
Almost my intro, but I was like, you know what? The subject matter is a little too dark for me to go that silly too early.
Same thing. I was going to say this podcast is the size of my dick, and then I decided not to. I was like, that's not for this episode.
So, yeah, they try to coerce this guy into confessing just like they did Kang-Ho, but it doesn't work out.
It's interesting. He tells the suspect is like, look, the brutality of the newspapers is more exciting than the porno mags. He basically tells them, I'm not the killer, but the idea of this fantasy excites me.
Sure.
The horrible things that are happening excite me.
Yeah.
And Park is telling the chief, I'll know as soon as I see this suspect's face, I'll know if he's the killer. But meanwhile, we see Cho already putting the shower cap on his shoes. So we know they're just back to their bullshit.
Yep. And so Tae-yoon decides to investigate the outhouse behind the girls' middle school because of that story he heard.
Mm-hmm.
And he runs into a teacher who informs him of a woman she saw crying in the house behind the outhouse behind the girls' middle school.
Mm-hmm.
So he heads there and he tries to ask her some questions, but she's not having it. She doesn't want to speak to him.
He sees her wearing a red garment and he just knows.
Yep.
He knows what he's dealing with.
Yep. And so he enlists the help of Officer Kwon, who comes and interviews this woman and asks her what happened. And she says that she was almost killed in the exact same way as the other girls, but he let her go because she didn't look into his eyes. And at this point, I'm like, oh, so Park's the killer with the whole eyes thing, right?
Sure, that makes sense. Yeah.
But she also tells him he didn't have rough hands like you would expect. His hands were very soft, which will come into play later. And so Tae-yoon tells Park and Jo to let their suspect go after he checks his hands and noticing that they're rough from working in the quarry.
And we get an insane line where they say, did you tie that man to the ceiling? And Park's like, well, yeah, he kept lying.
Yeah. And so Park and Tae-yoon start to tussle because they just are clashing over their different ways of investigating this thing. But it starts to rain and the song begins playing on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
And before they can actually do anything, another girl is found dead.
Immediately,
yeah.
And the chief, finds the time of death and is like, this happened while you two were fighting in this fucking office.
Yep. And so during the victim's autopsy, the coroner removes 9 pieces of a peach, including the pit from this girl's vagina.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's rough.
Yeah.
This seems to be what finally breaks him. He's like, you're right. I'm not good at my job. He destroys his own journal.
Yeah, him tearing apart that book of potential suspects is like a turning point for him.
It is. And they sort of start to switch places.
A little bit.
Taeyoon is like, my way of doing things, the correct way of doing things isn't getting results. And Park is like, well, I should be a better cop. And meanwhile, Kwon is like, we figured out where this postcard came from. We're able to figure out who has been requesting these songs. So they go to find this suspect, and he has almost no reaction to being caught.
Dude, this guy is Korean Paul Dano. Like, this is him in The Batman.
Dude,
where
I thought the same thing.
Where they come to get him at the coffee shop.
Yeah, you're right.
I wonder if Villeneuve saw this movie as well for Prisoners, because I can see the inspiration between like the calm, demeanored Paul Dano in that movie versus how calm and collect Hyun-gyu is in this.
I would guarantee Matt Reeves has seen Memories of Murder.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is Park Hae-Il, who is also in The Host.
Yes.
Again, that movie fucks. Everybody should watch it.
He's so good.
He's so calm here. There's no way he thinks he's going down for this.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the movie never really tells us that he did it.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it was him.
Well, we'll talk about that when we get to the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that Tae-yoon immediately is like, let me check your hands, man.
Yeah.
That's good police work.
And he straight up tells them, he's like, yeah, I started working at this factory right before the first murder.
Yep. I did request all those songs. I knew everything about the girls that were murdered, but I didn't do it. And yeah, Tae-yoon asked him what the last song was that played during the window of the previous murder's broadcast, but he's like, I don't know. And Tae-yoon's like, well, that makes you more guilty. You can't tell me what you called in so many times to listen to this radio station. You couldn't tell me what the last song was that played.
Yeah, you weren't there the whole time. And then Cho starts to get rough with him, and Park pulls him off. He's like, we're not doing it that way. We got to do it the right way.
And Hyun-gyu tells them, I know you guys torture innocent people. The whole town knows it. I won't be one of them.
Mm-hmm. And I just love that he's smiling the whole time. And it could be seen as either annoyance or reminiscence as like Taeyoon recounts how the murder happened. And the whole time, Park is silent and he's just staring at this man's face. Like he wants, please tell me something, you know? It's a really great silent performance.
Yeah, he's having memories of murder.
Oh, shit. He said it.
We figured it out.
We figured it out.
So Cho gets annoyed and just beats this guy, and the chief of police kicks him out of the investigative room. Mm-hmm. And with no evidence, no eyewitnesses, and no confession, Tae-yoon and Park are at a dead end. But Tae-yoon ponders how Kang-Ho, that disabled man from earlier, could have known of the murders if Park really didn't tell him during his quote-unquote confession. Mm-hmm. And so they listen back to the tape and realize Kang-Ho wasn't describing the murder firsthand. He was detailing what he saw. He is their eyewitness.
And now, unfortunately, he's rightfully terrified of them.
Yep.
And no one trusts them. It's so funny. They go to this restaurant and the news is basically like, the police are fucking shitheads. Yep. Everyone should punch them in their dicks. Like, this makes Cho, like, fighting mad.
Yeah.
It gets rowdy real fast.
Well, he overhears, because he's been there drinking before Tae-yoon and Park even show up.
Right.
And they're looking for Kang-Ho, and he's not there. And yeah, Cho's been there drinking because he got kicked off the case. And he overhears a couple of girls, like, I think schoolgirls, talking about how, like, the detectives should all have their dicks cut off for how ineffective they are.
That line blew my mind.
Yes. And this is where he just lashes out. He breaks the TV. He starts grabbing this girl by the hair and throwing her around.
Yeah.
And this is where Kang-Ho shows up, and he thinks this is a game while being played, but he picks up a nail board with a rusty nail sticking out and just stabs Cho in the leg with it. This is rough.
Yeah. And he's really confused. Like, he runs away. He's being chased by the police now. They're asking him to tell the story again. And he's like, I already told you. Like, what do you not understand?
Yeah.
And we start to see the murder from his perspective and the shot that he's having memories of a murder.
He is.
And the shot of him in the lightning, like, seeing the killer is terrifying.
Mm-hmm. They show him Hyun-gyo's photo and ask if he's the murderer, but he's too scared to answer, recalling when he was a kid being thrown into a fire and how hot it was.
So this is a highly debated line. Like, people have discussed whether this means the killer threw him in a fire and he recognized him from that. If his father abused him as a child, if Cho somehow did it in an earlier altercation as a childhood bully.
I don't think it's any of that because
I don't
these
either.
Burn scars are old.
Yeah, I think it's him relating a recent trauma to an old one.
Yes.
I think he's confused.
Yes, I agree. And yeah, like the patrons of the bar, it's almost like that scene. You remember in, I think it's The Other Guys, where they go to Brett Gelman's house.
Getting a lot of Other Guys vibes from Memories of Murder.
But you remember when they go there and like they like insults him or whatever, and then like they drive away and we cut to a new scene and they're like down like in their car talking, but then Brett Gelman just starts he like has sprinted all the way from his house to their car and he's like, I'm gonna get like it feels like that because the bar patrons show up and then that guy in white pants just like out of nowhere just like flying kicks Park.
Yeah, they continue the bar brawl blocks away.
Yes.
It's crazy. They were like, I'm not fucking done with you.
And yeah, this is where during the chaos, Kang-Ho escapes and Park chases after him, but unfortunately he puts himself in harm's way.
Oh, God.
Dude, this shit.
Yeah, I know. He stops on a set of train tracks and an oncoming train runs him down.
So I do want to make one note where like, I think it's important to know that this is the first time where like people are getting killed and murdered because of his shoddy police work, but this is the first time where he got to see it.
Yes. And it's when he's trying to do good police work.
Yeah, and the blood is literally on his hands.
Yeah.
Yep.
You get the idea that he hasn't really seen
violence this close up.
Yeah, the consequences of his actions like this. Yeah.
And then you think about it, the last time we tortured this poor boy.
Yeah.
He can't be detached anymore.
The shot where after he gets hit by the train, you see the shoes he gifted him just next to the railroad tracks, I think is a striking image.
It's so good. And it's implied that Park goes back to his girlfriend's house instead of to the police station. Like he's like, I don't even want to face any of this.
I love the little detail too, because this is just now pandemonium of the police chief checking his blood pressure in the office while he's on the phone.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great touch.
He's talking to the forensics guy and the guy's like, yeah, we have a semen sample. We have to send it to a forensics lab. And the chief says, so if the semen matches, like we have our guy. And the forensics guy essentially, the line delivery is essentially, yeah, that would be good evidence. Like, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, so they send off this sample to America and they send off a sample of Hyung-gyo's semen to try and match. And turns out Joe has tetanus from being stabbed with that rusty nail board. And he's like, nah, it's fine. I'll walk it off.
I just need to sit down for a minute. Yeah. But they have to amputate, and Park is the person who has to sign for it. Like, it somehow becomes his decision.
Yeah. And man, the shot of, just Joe on the operating table, just like looking at, you can't tell if he's knocked out from anesthesia or if he's just glaring at him. But man, that's awful. But also good, because this guy's a piece of shit.
He's a piece of shit. And Park's girlfriend calls.
Did you say a police of shit?
I might have. Did you say Margaret Wahlberg? Park's girlfriend calls him and basically is like, do you have to keep doing this? And I love the moment of her just giving him an IV by the lake. Like, this man has not stopped. He's not taking care of himself.
I love it.
And she's just hanging the bag from a tree. And it's just this nice little moment between them where they basically are like, yeah, we could start over. We could leave all of this hell behind, but I can't. I gotta solve this.
I love that Park and Kwok's relationship doesn't ever turn, like he never like hits her or like yells at her or anything. I love that they are a genuinely sweet couple.
Yeah.
It's such a anomaly for a movie like this, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And for police officers.
Wow. And so, Hyung-gyo is let out because they can't hold him anymore. And so Tae-yoon just is staking him out 24/7, but he falls asleep. He notices when he wakes up that Hyun-gyo is getting on a bus and his car stalls out, so Hyun-gyo gets away. And we cut to Kwok, who's Park's girlfriend again, who is out late at night walking down the street, and she crosses paths with one of the schoolgirls that Tae-yoon was speaking to earlier.
And you can see her realize she shouldn't be out right now.
Yep.
Like, there's a moment where she stops, realizes it's dark, realizes she's vulnerable. And then from the POV of the killer, you watch him trying to decide between these two victims. And it's really well done. It's so scary. and he ultimately chooses the schoolgirl.
Mm-hmm.
And the fucked up thing is, as the viewer, you don't want any one of them to get killed, but it's also, it has us like rooting for a certain one.
Yeah.
Because we spent more time with one.
Right. You're like, I know this person more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the only one we actually get to see, like, kind of happening in real time. Like, she's then bound and gagged as he carries her through the woods, and he lays these items gently on the ground, like a spoon, a ballpoint pen, a razor, and notably, she does look up into his eyes, and we fade to black before we actually see the violence being committed.
And it's implied that this is the worst one yet, because the police are speechless. One man's throwing up. The chief doesn't want to talk to the press for the first time.
Yeah. Her body's been mutilated with a razor, a pen and spoon are found inside her. And Tae-Yoo recognizes her as the girl he spoke with earlier, and this is where he snaps.
He met her earlier. She had hurt her back, and he helped put a Band-Aid on her back, and she covered up. Like, she was really shy about it. She didn't want to show her back.
Yeah.
And there's this really heartbreaking moment with Tae-Yoon where he realizes it's her, and he pulls her shirt down because he remembers she was shy.
Yeah.
It's an impeccably acted moment as well.
This guy's so fucking good.
Yeah.
He's such a good actor. But yeah, Tae-Yoon tracks Hyung-Yu down and drags him out of his house into the rain to the entrance of a nearby railroad tunnel.
And tells him, nobody will care if I kill you.
Hyung-Yu confesses, but only because that's what Tae-Yoon wants to hear. And so, like, as they're tussling, you think Tae-Yoon's about to kill this man, but Park shows up with the results of the semen analysis, and turns out there is no conclusive evidence to connect the two.
Which, you know, at this time, it also could have been that one of the samples was contaminated or too much time had passed, or it's crazy that they sent the specimens back, right?
Yeah.
Like, you just give me the results. I don't need you to send me like 2 cups of jizz. Like,
I guess you kind of have to, right? It's evidence, technically.
I guess. Yeah, it's just, I've never seen a return to sender on ejaculate before. And
you never pulled a Jared Leto and gifted someone your semen and they gave it back to you?
No, so crazy. I haven't done that.
That's crazy. I love that even though it's raining, you can distinctively tell that Tae-Yoon is crying when he's reading these results. Like, you can see a tear slip out of his eye. It's so good.
And he says, this document is a lie. I don't need it. Like, he's like, I am so sure you're the guy.
Well, 2 things about that. I love that he says that because the whole movie he's been saying documents can't lie. They never lie. And I think it's a great touch for him to finally go, I don't accept this as the answer. So therefore, this document's lying.
I need to finish this.
But also, I know tensions are high here, guys, but how about we don't let the paperwork get too wet, huh? Because they're like throwing it on the ground and everything.
I kept thinking the same thing. I was like, you're just, this is soggy now. Like, the ink is going to run.
And so Park asks Hyung-Yu to look into his eyes as Tae-Yoon grabs his gun and tries to fire it point blank into Hyung-Yu's face, but Park stops him. And after staring into Hyung-Yu's eyes for a while, he finally admits, shit, I don't know if you're the killer or not.
He says, do you get up each morning too? He's like, you're just another guy, aren't you? Like, I can't tell if you're a person or a monster. And you see in Sung Kang-ho's face, I am a fraud.
Yep.
Like, I have nothing. I have nothing left. This is it.
This shot is so great, though, from his POV of just holding this man by the throat and looking into his eyes. It's so good.
Yeah.
And a train comes through the tunnel, cutting through the paperwork on the tracks and separating Park and Tae-Yoon from Hyung-Yu, who escaped into the tunnel. And Tae-Yoon tries to shoot him in the back, but Park stops him and lets the man disappear into the darkness.
Yeah.
This is good shit.
But you think for a second he's killed him.
Yeah.
Because he falls.
I think it does speak on Park on how it affected him that Bong-ho died.
Yeah.
Because he would have joined in on beating the shit out of this guy.
Yeah.
Killing him even.
Yeah. There was a time where he would have been like, absolutely, this is our guy. Shoot him.
Yeah.
Let's take him in.
Yeah.
He can't say it wasn't him if we kill him.
But now, he can't do it anymore.
Yeah. It's good character development, and also why I don't think the ending works, but we're about to get there.
Sure, let's do it.
So we jump to present day. It's 2003. Park and Kwok are now married and have kids, and they're living pretty comfortably. Park now sells juice extractors.
He's thinner too.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yeah,
He's like more relaxed. He doesn't have tension in his shoulders. He seems like, he's really got it together.
He's a pretty good businessman too, because he's being driven around by the chauffeur. And
I love the moment where they're talking to his son and if he's been playing video games all night, and he pulls the son, look into my eyes, I can tell if you're lying.
Yep.
But this time he actually is a detective and he's like, yeah, your eyes are bloodshot. Like you've been playing video games all night.
Yeah. And so, yeah, he's being driven around by a chauffeur, and Park asks him to stop the car as it passes alongside the same field he found the dead girls' bodies all those years ago.
Yeah.
And he steps out, he approaches the drainage ditch where he found the first victim, and peers inside, but doesn't spot anything. And then, Nathan, this is your movie. Do you want to tell us what happens here at the end?
Yeah, at this point, a young girl walks by and asks him what he's looking for, and he says nothing really. And she tells him, I saw a man recently looking down there, and he said he remembered doing something here. And Park can't help himself. He asks, what did he look like? And she says, just normal, just a plain face, regular guy. And we end the film with Park looking directly into the camera as though he's looking at the murderer watching the film in the theater.
Yep.
But also telling us, like, I'll never solve this. This has haunted me my entire life. It's a stunning final shot, even if the prologue or the epilogue rather doesn't totally ring true. I do think that is like an all-time final shot.
I agree. I think it's a fantastic ending. I will say Wikipedia says that he is shaken by the realization that the killer blends into society and could be anybody. I think that can be inferred, but the movie is not directly telling you that.
I agree.
I also love that we don't get any closure on Tae-yoon or Hyung-yu. We just get it from Park's perspective.
Yeah, and it feels like... I totally get what you mean. Like, Park feels like the kind of person who would never let this go. But I also do think that this broke him down. And maybe this wasn't his last case, but I do think eventually he just had to leave this life because he realized, I'm not good at this. This is not... I don't know.
Well, I don't know how to articulate exactly why it doesn't ring true to me, but I started thinking about it last night after I finished the movie, and I was like, well, the whole movie, he's thinking he has this intuition that he can just look into someone's eyes and know if they're guilty or something or not.
Right.
And by the end of the movie, he realizes, no, I can't do that. I'm a fraud. There's no way to know that. You need hard evidence and everything.
Right.
And for the movie then to have this little girl say, oh, well, the guy that showed up here just had a plain face. He just looked like everybody else. There's no distinctive qualities I can tell you that would, signify anything. He seems to then have like this epiphany, but again, I don't know how to articulate it, but like I feel like that doesn't mean anything significant. Like if there was a thing where like, early in the movie it's hard because the only surviving victim said, I didn't see his face. And Kang-Ho doesn't describe his face. And I would argue that Hyung-yu doesn't have an ordinary face. He's a handsome as shit gentleman.
Yeah, I think it's more so him feeling that lack of closure.
I
don't see it as him thinking, it could be anybody. I think it's twofold. I think it's him realizing this is always going to elude me. I'm gonna think about this for the rest of my life. And I think part of it is also Bong Joon-ho genuinely wanting to spook the killer. I really do. And there's this fascinating interview with him where he said something along the lines of like, the killer was eventually apprehended years after this film was released. And Bong Joon-ho was like, I'm not ready to see what this man looks like. I've read the articles about it. I don't think I'm ready to like engage with that. And to a certain extent, maybe that's what's haunting Park, is that maybe he doesn't want to know, but he has to know, and he'll never know. And all of that is all tied up in why he can never completely rest, even though his life seems all put together. There's so many different things that I think you can infer from that final shot, which is why it works for me. But I also completely see what you're saying.
Well, do we know if the killer ever actually did see the movie?
I don't know, actually.
Okay. Just curious. But yeah, I feel like there's something... I mean, I get that it's kind of a meta ending of like, it could be anybody. That doesn't necessarily have to be distinctive features for you to be able to tell this is the killer. But also, from the perspective of the movie, I can't say definitively one way or another whether Hyung-yu did do it or not.
Okay, so the killer was already serving time in prison when he was linked to the real life murders.
Right.
And he told the police he had seen the film while in prison and said, I felt nothing while watching it.
That seems about right.
He said he didn't even see himself in the story. He just watched it like it was a movie.
I have to imagine, of course, that's how he reacted to it. But
right.
Also, yeah, this guy's still alive. If you're curious, go look it up. But yeah, I can't say one way or another whether Hyung-gyu did it. He probably did do it, but without hard evidence, it's hard to say one way or another. Right. And I don't know. Something about the ending just doesn't ring true to me. I still love it. I still think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Something's not working for me.
It is also one of those movies where like the lack of closure is the point, but it's also frustrating. Yeah. Like it feels slightly incomplete, which is why I don't think it's a perfect film.
Yeah.
But it really works for me in the things that it does well.
I don't know, man. Like I didn't know that there was a real life killer on the loose. And so I saw that ending as like I'll never know. He has a plain face, and there's nothing distinctive that we'll never find him. I'm not a detective anymore, but you got to think about the stuff that he's also had to deal with.
Yeah.
Like how many other girls has he hurt throughout the years because I didn't catch him?
Yeah.
There's also the idea that like maybe the person that this girl saw wasn't the killer. It could just be another guy who was like, yeah, I had a party here by the drainage ditch one time, you know? Or it was the tractor driver or something like that.
That's fair.
Or it was the kid that kept mocking him.
That's true. Yeah.
I just feel like Bong Joon-ho is trying to make a statement with the fact that she says the guy had an ordinary face. And I feel like that doesn't represent anything related to the movie I just saw.
Interesting.
And I don't know how to articulate it exactly. Again, I don't have a problem with it. I still think this is a great movie.
Yeah.
I can't put my finger on what that whole little epilogue why it doesn't work for me necessarily, but I still love it.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, that's Memories of Murder. Any final notes, boys, before we get to the wrap-up segment?
No, we covered all of my notes, actually.
The kid in the opening that was like mimicking him.
Yeah.
Was that the woman's son? Is that what was implied? Like because he was the only one that was like standing over the thing.
No, I think he was just
being a little shithead.
I think he was just a random kid, right?
Yeah, I do too.
Well, he did a double take. He went down to look at the woman's face and then looked at him and he just stared at it kind of like in a puzzling thing. And then it went to the title card.
I think he's just trying to be like, what's this kid's fucking problem?
Yeah, okay. I think like Nathan said, they don't take the police seriously at this time.
Yeah.
So that's why
yeah.
It shows us from the beginning that even the kids are like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
When it comes to the police.
Yeah.
I guess that reflects later when like kids are just running around a crime scene.
Right, exactly.
Jumping over dead bodies and shit.
Yeah.
Jumping over dead bodies.
It's also like it shows how unserious that they see the police, right? Like that they're just able to mock them.
Yeah.
Like they probably wouldn't do that to their own parents, but they'll do it to the fucking police.
Right.
All right. Well, let's get over to Prop Cop, boys. So if you're new to the show, Prop Cop is where we are going to each pick one prop from the movie we would hypothetically love to own for ourselves. And Nathan gets first dibs because this is his pick. So what prop do you want, Nathan?
You know what? I want to eat a little healthier. I want to get that juice extractor.
Oh, hell yeah. I actually would love one of those too.
Hell yeah.
JT, what about you?
I want the camera that he uses to take those Polaroids.
Oh yeah. The little disposable camera, whatever it is. Yeah, like that. I just want some of that sweet tenderloin, man. That shit look delicious.
Hell yeah, it did.
So fucking hungry. All right. What about a bit part? There's lots of extras in this movie. Who should we play? And I got to tell you, I picked this bit part specifically for this movie. Here we go.
Have you seen a Korean guy around here?
Yeah, only when I open my eyes, though.
That's good.
Who should we play in the movie, boys? Nathan, who do you want to be?
We meet the chief's wife for just a few minutes, and she's following behind him like, you gotta eat a fucking sandwich.
Yes.
Here's your lunch. And I thought that was a really fun little bit.
I want to be the guitar player at the karaoke bar.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Share some screen time with Kang-Ho and all them. That's great.
Hell yeah.
JT, what about you?
I'm going to be the kid in the bar fight that's doing way too much.
Yes.
Like chasing him down the block.
Yes.
Hell yeah. And since Mally's not here, I'm going to make him the guy that's in the wig and the dress for the reenactment.
Good. That's still so crazy.
All right, boys. Here we are. We got to find a silver lining to one of the movie's most upsetting endings, Memories of Murder. So what do we got?
It's funny that there's just silence.
Yeah, for real.
I got one. Can I go first?
Sure.
Detective Cho can't stomp out innocent people anymore.
Yeah. I wrote the same thing. Yeah. Can't really stop someone out if you got only one leg. I wrote down that at least the citizens of this town won't be wrongfully arrested and tortured anymore.
Well, we don't know that. It might not be about our characters here, but
Yeah.
Mine was a meta silver lining.
Okay.
The real murderer was caught in real life.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right. Well, I think we absolutely need one for this episode in particular, boys. What is a movie people should watch after they watch Memories of Murder as a pick-me-up alternative? I'm going to go with another movie where one group of women are victims, but then their successors get revenge on their murderer, and I'm going to go with Death Proof.
Hell yeah. That's a good one.
What about you, Nathan?
I went with a movie I just saw for the first time, the 1983 film Project A.
Oh.
Written, directed by, and starring Jackie Chan, which is a very different type of police movie. It's Hong Kong Marine Police in the late 19th century fighting pirates.
Oh.
And it's very kinetic, very fun, very funny, and filled with some absolutely fucking insane stunts.
Right on. JT, what about you?
I am going to go with Iron Lung.
Oh, what a fun movie to watch after this.
Yeah.
A double feature pick me up. Okay, you know what? Masters of the Universe wasn't awful. Okay, there.
Okay.
I like the total whiplash you're gonna have from these two films.
Yeah. Put Skeletor in the Iron Lung sub.
Yeah.
I will say Iron Lung, not a bad movie. I'm actually kind of impressed with all the YouTubers making movies today. Like, I thought Obsession was good.
Yeah.
I thought what's the other one? Backrooms was pretty good. Iron Lung is just too long.
Iron Lung needed a different editor.
Yes, it did. It sure did. All right, boys. Do we recommend Memories of Murder?
Yeah.
You sounded so sad.
I'm so sleepy.
I do, with caveats.
Yeah.
It's so heavy, and I don't think it's one that you go into without kind of knowing what it's about. I think you should maybe listen to the episode and then give it a shot. I'm not sure. I think it's a masterpiece, but it's definitely not for everybody. It's a supremely uncomfortable movie, but I think it's also incredibly well made.
Nathan, now that you mentioned that, I was looking up some of the content warnings on this.
Yeah.
And I thought it was so funny because one of them was just, there's literally naked women.
Oh.
Like, that was the content. And the rest of the stuff is in detail. Like, it'll tell you, like, spoiler-free scene, but this is what's in this.
Yeah.
And then one of them was just, there's literally naked women.
There's literally naked women.
I guess there literally are, yeah.
Jeez.
No, I kind of agree. I would say that, like, the subject matter is dark, but the movie is not so grim or exploitative. Like, they're mostly talking about things. You see, like, they find the women's bodies, but it's as tastefully done as it can be.
I also think if you love Parasite, which I think has been like a big entry point for South Korean films for Americans, if you loved Parasite, definitely check this one out, because you can see the germination of those ideas and the things that Bong Joon-ho is interested in exploring throughout his career. There's a weird thematic through line between this and Snowpiercer and Parasite.
And it's crazy to me that this was only his second movie. That's fucking bananas.
It's so accomplished.
And then to make The Host right after this, what a baller filmmaker.
Yeah. Fucking Host rules.
But yeah, I would say this isn't my favorite of his movies, but it's definitely up there. It is a very well-made movie. It's very well acted. The story's compelling. I just really wish that ending worked better for me. I still love it. I don't want people to think I didn't like it. I still loved it. Just, it prevented me from giving it 5 stars, so sorry to say that.
Sure.
But yeah, that's it for Memories of Murder. Thank you so much for listening to the show. If you haven't already, go leave us some feedback, rate, subscribe, wherever you're listening right now. You can follow us on social media. You can check out the website, tslppodcast.com, where we've got links to everything and more. You can join our free Discord if you haven't already. Tons of fun happening there. And lastly, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/silverliningsplaylist if you want more of the show. On the Patreon this week, we just released our commentary on Harry and the Hendersons for Diamond Lining tier members.
Hell yeah.
And I will say, if you're not a Diamond Lining tier member, this month only, you can upgrade to that tier for free for the month of August, so you can gain access to not just the Harry and the Hendersons commentary, which is so much fun, but our first TSLP commission on Shark Attack 3 Megalodon.
Yeah.
Use the link in the show notes of this episode, wherever you're listening to us right now, to claim that free month. The reason we're doing this is sort of a, sorry we couldn't give you a mini series like we normally do for the month of August, but that's because we also are releasing the massive 2-hour and 40-minute long 10-year anniversary special on August 15th.
Hell yeah.
Which we want everyone to be able to hear for free. So you can get that wherever you get podcasts. So yeah, we're giving you 1 month free of the Diamond Lining tier, but it's only $2 a month after that. If you want to stick around, you get a ton of bonuses. So,
that's right.
Yeah, there you go. All right. I think the only bit of business we have left to do, boys, is I got to give you a clue for what we're going to be talking about in 2 weeks on my episode pick. And my clue is, I like parties. Do you want a party?
Do you want a party?
We're going to have a lot of fun on the next episode.
Yeah.
Big tonal shift from this week's episode. But yeah, that's all I got to say. Thank you for listening. Rest in peace, Oatmeal. And as always, I don't eat burnt meat.
You're dumping shit on cooked rice here.
Nice! Good idea!
Hey, it's JT. Thanks for listening to the Silver Linings playlist. We'll be back for another episode soon. But in the meantime, check out our Patreon for more. Link in the description below. See ya.